Hello, hello, you beautiful soul. So I had a really funny message coming through today. Spirit was saying, whoever this message is for, you don't discriminate. Like, you don't discriminate when it comes to spitting facts, telling the truth, whatever it is, right? Like, I was getting this energy of like, whoever this is, right? This isn't a matter of you not choosing sides because you're lazy or because you don't, you know, understand. It's like, no, this collective has full range of sight, right? You see all that is, you see both sides. And this is a collective that just moves through all of the multi-dimensional layers, right? And it's like being in between, right? This is like a collective that might resonate with being in between everything, like not really being one thing or another, right? I can resonate, 111 as I look up, I can resonate with that in so many different ways. My race, my size, I'm like not quite a full, it's like whatever and a half inch. I'm like in between sizes on everything. You might resonate as a man or a woman. I don't know how sizes are for men, but in between everything. Like, and because you're in between, it's not that you're on a fence, it's not that you're indecisive, it's not that you don't know what side you stand on. It's just that you are more than just one side. Right? Like, you don't discriminate against sides, you don't discriminate against color, you don't discriminate against party, you don't discriminate against age, you don't discriminate against anybody when it comes to protecting your peace, protecting your energy, and speaking your truth, right? Speaking ultimately the truth. And I love this energy. This is like the dark empaths, right? It all comes from a place of compassion. You don't go around hurting people on purpose and just like being ugly for no reason, but you also don't discriminate, right? It doesn't matter what version of yourself wants to tussle, right? Because this is a message for somebody who understands that everything around us is mirroring us. So it's just other versions of ourselves, of source consciousness experiencing itself through itself, right? So someone wants to tussle with you, you're like, oh, okay, I guess this version of myself wants to tussle today. Let's go. Right? You don't care if it's a child or if it's your, grandmama. It doesn't matter who it is, right? If someone's disrespecting you, then you stand in your boundaries, right? And you protect your peace, you protect your space, you protect whatever it is that is sacred to you, right? Which should be your energy. So Spirit was saying, you pass out equal lefts and equal rights. Right? Like, you meet people with the same energy that they meet you with, right? Because you're a mirror. But because you're not coming from a place of wound, right, where you're also projecting onto this other person, you get to just be a good, fine mirror. And oh man, it's so funny. So whenever you hit them with that mirror, and their stuff is reflected back to them, it's with love, it's with compassion, it's because you want that person to grow, you want that person to succeed, you want that person to break the cycles. And if you are a shaman, or if you are about working within the collective, you already know what you're doing, right? You call out these energies and you wait for them to come and meet you, right? And then you handle them accordingly. So, and it's done with love, right? It's never, it's never a fear thing. It's just that you accept fully everything that is, and you love all that is. And even the yucky stuff, right? Somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to love the yucky stuff. Somebody has to move in between spaces and places and not discriminate. I got a phone call. Not discriminate against, like I said, size, color, age, nothing. I can tell you one thing my dad taught me was the bigger they are, the harder they fall. So we'll just say that. We'll just say that. And that can go in so many different places. So, but either way, this message, it's just had me rolling, because it's like, someone wants to come at you right, you know, you're gonna meet them with the right. And if someone wants to come at you left, you're gonna meet them with the left, right? Like, and it's from love. It's because you love this person, and it's because ultimately you're exactly the kind of like spiritual warrior, kick-ass person that we need here on this planet to set stuff straight, right? To like rebalance the scales of, hey bro, you're just a person here too, my guy. You know, and I don't care what version of creation I am standing in front of, we're going to respect one another, right? And there's no discrimination. It's pure love, and it's unconditional. And that is truly the most amazing energy to be in, is unconditional love. And to be where you're at was not just handed to you, right? This is earned. You have earned this skill, right? This is a skill. This is a skill, and it is a practice. And through your own ability to be respectful of the truth, right? And respectful of source and of yourself, and your ability to reflect on your own self, right? And see all of the beautiful reflections of yourself mirroring back to you in your experience, right? You know, you already know the process because you've been through the process, right? And now you are the process for other people, you know? And it is so beautiful. I love whoever this message is for. You are so cool and amazing. And truly, oh, I have a story to share real quick that I feel led to share. If you really want to like check yourself and see where you're at, I suggest calling in, manifesting like a parking lot Karen. Okay. Because I did. Okay. I was like, I really want to see where I'm at. I want to see, you know, like, don't talk about it, be about it, Candice Ryan. You know, like, people say what they might do or how they might handle a situation, but you truly don't know until you're in that situation, right? So I could sit here all day and be like, oh yeah, I will greet a parking lot Karen with the utmost respect. And blah, 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 right? Like, whatever. So I'm like, all right, let's see what's up. Let's see what's up, right? Let's play a little game here. Universe, Candice, let's play with yourself here. So I'm like, all right, I want a parking lot Karen. And within just like a matter of days, I received one. And it was a beautiful situation because I got to save this lady. So I will start the story off at the beginning. My daughters wanted popsicles. We would go to the grocery store. It's 4:00 in the afternoon in Texas, parking lot, right? It's over 100 degrees. And I pull in to where I usually park because it's easy to get my 3-year-old twins in, or 3.5, and you know, it's wild. So I'm like, get them in, and I just park, run in, run out. And whenever I run out, the car that was next to me was still there, but I started to hear some labored breathing, and I was like, what the heck is going on? And I'm trying to get my twins in the car. And I'm like trying to get them buckled up, and I'm hearing this labored breathing, and I look around, I don't see anybody. And then I hear this old lady voice, and she's like, sweetie. And I was like, oh my gosh, where's this coming from? And I look the car next to me, there's this lady in her 80s, easily 90s, just in the car by herself, windows down, cracked like maybe this much, and no keys in the car, no air on. It is so freaking hot. And I immediately was just like, oh my gosh, you know, like, this lady needs help. And she's like, can you open the door? And I'm like, yes. And I have my twins, they're still not buckled in, right? So I've got 3-year-old twins running around me, circles. They want to help, right? They're like, let's get grandma out. And I'm like, yeah, we got to get grandma out. Um, and I couldn't get the doors unlocked. I reached in the windows. I'm trying to get the doors unlocked, and I'm like, internally, but I'm staying calm because I have to maintain control and order over the situation and myself so I can actually do something here. And so I'm just like, okay, I realize I can't get the doors unlocked. I can't continue to let my toddlers run around the car, and I need help. So I go inside. I take my toddlers in. I grab the popsicles because we already bought them. Grab their popsicles. I shell them out of their plastic so fast as we're running into the store. Give them popsicles, right? Appease the little beasts so that they'll be cool while I handle the situation. And go to the counter, and I'm like, look, there's a lady. We need to get her family. They're they're somewhere in the store. They're shopping. Her daughters, 2 ladies, shopping. Just left their mom in the car. No big deal. And I'm like, this is a situation. We need to get this taken care of. But first, we need to get this lady out of the car, right? We need to figure out how to get this lady out of the car. She needs to get out immediately. And so then I'm like, okay, they got it handled. Surely there's a whole team of people here. Surely they can get it handled. Yes. So I gather my tots, and I'm like getting to the van and trying to get them loaded up again, get the van cooled off. It's hot, like over 100 degrees in this parking lot. No shade. And I'm like getting them in, and then this whole crowd of people that like workers at the store start coming around the car, and they're trying to get the car unlocked. And I'm like, hey, has anybody paged her family, right? Like, let's gather our brain cells since we're all standing around here. Did anybody get the information for the car, or say, hey, we need the owners of this vehicle to come here immediately with the keys and let your mom out the car? It's hot, right? Nope, they didn't. So then I had to suggest that, right? I'm like, hey, I'm doing this. I'm getting my toddlers in. One of you go inside and page on the intercom, whatever. Well, then as soon as they finally like processed what needed to happen in this moment, they got the door unlocked. The granny was getting out. She didn't have no shoes. Luckily, I have just like an extra pair of slides. I just gave them to them. I was like, here, give her some shoes so she can step out of the car. They had a little cart for her. They're getting the lady out of the car into just like the open air for a minute. And then here come her daughters. Ooh, the Karen that I manifested. I was waiting for her. I saw her because I was like wondering, what kind of people does this look like? I'll be honest. I'm the person where if someone does something stupid, I'm like, what does a complete moron look like? Right? What does a complete idiot look like? What is someone or, a person with limited awareness actually look like? I want to see what this person looks like. So I was curious, but I'm also trying to get my girls in the car. I'm trying to cool down. And I also can't get out because there's people all around. So then I'm kind of like stuck in the car, and I'm watching. Out comes Karen and her sister. And Karen is throwing her hands up. She's upset. She's embarrassed because there's all this commotion going around. And then she starts expressing her anger and projecting all of her frustration onto everybody around and the mother, right? Like kind of calling her dramatic and like, oh, you're just mama, and saying, oh, she drives me freaking crazy and all this stuff. And I'm like, this is wild. I'm sitting in the car, right, mind you, because I manifested this. I was like, I've been wanting to witness this. I've been waiting for her parking lot Karen. And here she is in the flesh, throwing a hissy fit because she is not responsible, right? And I'm like watching it, and I'm like, okay, old Candice, unhealed Candice, wounded Candice would have been out of that car so fast and delivering this woman every ounce of accountability that she never got. Okay. But I didn't. I was like, you know what? I was like, all right, cool. I was like, cool. I'm sitting here. I'm just watching, right? Where's my popcorn? I got a popsicle. Watching. I'm trying to cool off, really, because on the inside I was burning hot. I was like, how dare she? talk to her mother this way. And so anyway, it all settles down. She gets in the car, and my window's cracked because I was listening, because I'm like, all right, I'm not done here, right? There's a reason I'm stuck here. I'm sitting here, and I wanted to say something to this lady, but I'm like, Spirit, if you want me to say something, I'm gonna wait, right? I'll be a good girl. I'll sit here and wait until you're ready for me to speak. And she sure did get in the car. She waited for the managers and the workers to go inside. She got in that car next to me in the passenger seat and started yelling at her mother. And the windows were down, like cracked. So it's not like people couldn't hear her if you were walking around. And I'm just thinking, like, wow. And I had my window cracked, and I was looking at her like over here. I was like, what? 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 And I'm sure it was all over my face. And like, then I rolled my window all the way down, and she looked over at me and smiled like we were cool. Like what she was doing wasn't inappropriate. And I was like, rolled my window down. She looked at me, smiled. She rolled her window down, and she's, oh my gosh, she had this grin. I was just like she didn't just cuss out her mother. And for dang near having a heat stroke and dying, mind you, because of her lack of freaking accountability and responsibility. Anyways, so I'm like, I roll my window down, I'm looking at her, and I was like, is that how you talk to your mama? And she said, oh, what was that? I said, is that your mother? And she was like, oh yeah, she's got Alzheimer's, and oh, she wears me out. And I was like, yeah, I get it. I understand, I hear you. I was like, it sounds to me like you need a break, right? And she's like, oh, this and that. And she's getting all expressive and trying to spew her shit onto me. And I'm not playing that game. And I was like, why don't you go yell at the sky? I was like, go yell at your freaking pillow. Go yell somewhere else, right? Don't be yelling at this beautiful woman, please, right? Like, I understand that we all have struggles. We all face challenges. But, there were some words that were exchanged, and all of them were handled with a lot of grace and compassion. And I surprised myself. I surprised myself because I don't usually run into people like this, but I wanted to, because I wanted to test myself, right? Like, if you really don't discriminate, if you truly hold the deepest compassion, then you can come against something so heart-wrenching, right? And still have compassion, to the point where when this person is done, when you're done with your interaction, both of those ladies were thanking me. They were saying, thank you. Yeah, you're welcome. No, this beautiful woman, because her mind isn't here in the way that you want it to be, she doesn't deserve to be yelled at. Nobody does, right? It's like speaking to a child. You're going to leave your kid in the car and then yell at your kid for having you're having a heat stroke? Really? Like, that's your kid's fault? Oh my gosh. Y'all, I love you so much. I got to go. You're amazing. You're beautiful. You're needed. And like I said, if you think you're that good, you think, and if this message is for you, you don't even have to call it out. You just go around and handle it, because I handle plenty of things accordingly. But it was the Karens that I hadn't really experienced, and I wanted that so bad. And I handled it with grace. And that's when you know that you're operating truly from compassion, right? The deepest compassion and acceptance for all that is. And I love you. You're amazing.